rolled off the presses in Watford this evening, and with me to give their first impressions after a quick scan are Dominique d'Ambre from Le Monde and Jonathan Fenby of The Guardian. Jonathan, if I can ask you first for a quick impression, the good points and the bad points of the European.
Well, one good point that strikes you immediately is the colour, which is absolutely superb. There's some good writing in it, some interesting features, but as a whole it seems to me strangely flat, rather inert as a paper. There's no great rhythm to it, and I'm just not sure who it's aiming at, because it's not strong enough in any particular department, I don't think, to make a very strong impression in this country and on the continent.
Dominique d'Ambre, were you any more impressed?
No, I would agree with Jonathan. It's rather bland. It's rather the sort of things you pick up on a train or in a plane. And the problem is, how could you interest someone who could be a British tourist in Nice or Barcelona, or a German businessman in some place in Europe? If you want something really, really good in terms of business news, well, you have the Financial Times. And it's different to have a tourist, a student, or a businessman in Europe. So I think it's rather difficult as an enterprise.
It's something of a contradiction in terms, really, isn't it? A weekly newspaper. Jonathan, what was the spread of the news coverage like? What are the news stories?
Well, I was surprised, in fact, how little real news there was in it, and probably the best news story they have, which was a story about a planned Baltic summit meeting this weekend, is put on page 3 and presented rather like a feature, rather than being put right up front on the front page. There was, I found, pretty little news in it, and also the spread of news was very surprising. I know that Eastern Europe and Germany are very much in the public eye, but for a paper which has been knocking all the other English London broadsheets over the last few weeks for their lack of broad European...
The World Cup, the BBC. Now on BBC Two, tonight's movie